All 6 investigates milliseconds can mean the difference between life or death for a police officer when facing a deadly threat. But while we've heard from suspects and family members before, we rarely get a chance to hear from the officer and see the toll it takes on their life. Call 6 investigates Paris Lubell takes a look at that millisecond decision. Good!
Training for something that they hope to never have to do.
Almost 243 shots fired, 1078.
11 years ago, Trooper Jason Allen only heard the first gunshot, the one that hit him in the chest.
I remember when the round came through the windshield, it was loud. I actually remember the smoke from the windshield blowing up, and it felt like being punched.
He didn't hear the series of shots after, the ones fired by him and 2 other officers faced with the decision on the scene back in 2005.
I don't remember hearing any of the actual gunshots. I don't remember hearing the sirens that were going off, but I can remember people's voices beside me.
Allen and other officers were chasing a man with a long history of drug arrests. Suddenly, the man crashes, and it's life or death for the officers.
After he crashed, he leaned out of the vehicle and he began to fire.
The suspect, Tracy Schlummer, was killed in the shootout, and Allen was saved by his bulletproof vest.
The round, you could actually still see it stuck in through my shirt. We train for this so often, the training just takes over.
That training is key for officers across the country and right here in Indiana when faced with that life or death situation.
Put the weapon down slowly. Right hand, put the weapon down slowly. Keep your hands up.
And state police put me to the test.
Sir, get back in the car.
Running simulation after simulation. When would I shoot? And would it be justified?
I don't think there's anything that we could ever do that would match the stress of a real situation, but we can get pretty close.
Drop the bat, sir.
Like this simulation where the man wasn't armed but was punching me again and again.
Sir, get back.
So what's the right move? Shoot or don't shoot?
It's a tough decision, as you can see, and it's a decision that has to be made in a millisecond. But if I feel like my life or the lives of others is in danger and there's a risk, then obviously we're going to have to resort to deadly force.
Sir, get back.
The right move, according to state police.
Definition of serious bodily injury encompasses several things, and one of those is loss of consciousness. If somebody has the ability to punch me in the head and render me unconscious, then I am justified legally to use deadly force.
But what about shooting somebody in the leg or the arm? A non-lethal shot. It's often brought up after police shootings, but state police say in those high-stress situations, they're trained to shoot at the torso for a very specific reason.
We utilize a weapon, a firearm, simply to stop the threat. If the threat stops and it ends up being a non-lethal shot, then that's okay. But we also understand that if we are at the point of deadly force, then we will utilize a firearm. We will aim for the largest mass, which is the center of mass on a person.
It all comes down to the training.
Put your hands up! Put your hands up!
And even though officers train on this simulator and others across the state, it's a situation that they never want to be involved in. The ones that actually had to shoot someone remember it for the rest of their lives.
It never leaves your mind. It's always there.
Now, state troopers here in the state of Indiana go through 900 hours of training in the academy, and 101 of those hours are specifically related to using a firearm. Then each year they have to go through 16 more hours of training, recertification for the firearm. Now IMPD, on the other hand, goes through 216 hours of use of force training altogether. The departments differ, but it's up there in the amount of hours that they have to do each time. Todd?
Very interesting inside look. Paris, thank you very much for that.